Hey there. Hi, Pinecone. Hi, Brian. How you doing? Is the sound okay? Everything sound all right? Okay. Hey, Pinecone. I think you're, you know, we don't tolerate um trolling on this channel, okay? Uh we get it, you like Rolex. Wahoo. You have no idea what a Larique is, okay? So don't pretend you do. Enjoy your Rolex and be careful. All right. Okay. Hey Andreas, how you doing? Football fan, good to see you. Joshua. Okay. All right. So what yeah. We get your Rolex thing, Pinecone. Enough. All right. Let's hear from some other people. Okay. Hey Chili Burger, how you doing? How are things in Brighton? Ian, good to see you. Nomos Lambda. Nomos Lambda, I agree. That is a neat watch. Hi, Dominic. How's it going? Hey, John. Hey, how are things in Texas? They finally cool off? Hey, Britt. Whoo, rainy South Florida. Yeah, we had a lot of rain up here. We're getting some South Florida weather, hot and muggy, a bit cooler. Yeah, that's nice. Where's I don't know. I guess when it gets in the 90s here, we all go crazy. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Okay, Pine. We heard you, Pinecone. A little knowledge doesn't go a far way. It's just a little knowledge. All right. Hey, Francie, Idle Time. Good to see you guys. Andreas, I like the Mad One Red. I like that. That is a neat. Um, that is a very neat watch. That's something I'm really glad that MB&F had done for everybody. Hmm. Okay, so let's hear what you'd like. What kind of buying plans? I know that Brian at the outset said that he'd like the Etude number 2. That's the one we're getting also. Um, so other than that, I don't know. There seems to be some really interesting watches that crop up out of nowhere. The other day, I was talking to this guy, and he was looking for a Roger Dubuis triple retrograde. I had never heard of that before, and turns out to be a really interesting watch. See, I'm trying to think some other ones. I've always liked the Papillon, Daniel Roth Papillon. That's another one that this would be a cool watch to have. I think it's like the Chanel Monsieur that I that thing was $40,000. I couldn't afford it. Um, my FP Journe is back from service and is is always fun to wear. Speaking conservatively, I'll say a nice Seiko Monster. Okay, Papillon is sick. Yeah, Yeah, no, the Papillon is, they have I'll tell you another one too, it's the one that Daniel Roth did when he was at, Bulgari, and the it's a Papillon, a version of Papillon, and the price difference is huge. Hi, Donald. Good to see you. I or hear from you. Anyway, so what are some other, hey, Junior, what would you like? You really like Longines Big Eye chronograph. I like that too, but except I'm not a chronograph fan. I discovered Longines when I was looking for an equation of time watch and found one. They had some anniversary version of it that was really great. Ah, the new Kadoki. Oh, okay. I really like a 56 day date. Both of those watches are great. I think the 56 is, people say, "Oh, it's the 56." Well, it's a Val-Fluier movement and yada yada yada. But the 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 56 day date really has an excellent Vacheron Constantin movement. That's in it. I think it's overlooked by a lot of people. The Kadoki, I like the one with the triple track that it has. That's a neat watch. Hey, Robert, good to see you again. IWC from the 50s, 60s to experience either an 89 movement or hang on, 8 automatic. Hang on a second. Yep. Or an automatic with the Pelington winding system. Hi. You know, have any of you do any of you own one of and by either by Singer or Fabergé or by H. Moser, one of the chronographs? And like I said, I'm not much of a chronograph person, but even if I'm not, one of those chronograph by the Agenor Agengraphs. God, that would be a nice one to have. Okay, problem with IWC is that it trades below retail. Yeah, this is one of the things. Since I don't buy watches, except for the horology, I don't have to. I Some of them have gone up incredibly, and other ones have not. Or I don't know if I have any that lost money, at least from what I paid for them. But it's I don't know. That doesn't. I haven't yet. That hasn't figured in deciding on a watch whether I can get rid of it or not. If I buy why would I buy a watch that I want to get rid of eventually? I'm trying to, I know what you're saying. And sometimes that, you get a watch and you enjoy it and then you have to sell it. That's happened to me. Done okay on that. Oh, the Kadoki Octopus watch. Now that doesn't have a Kadoki movement in it, but it is certainly an interesting watch. I hope number 3 can be completed. Oh god. Oh, geez. Donald, I don't know. I just don't know. One of the thing is that, Agenor, I I hope they can. I think their business seems to have increased about tenfold from when we started just a few years ago, especially with the H. Moser buy-in to it. So it's something that is I that is going to be a question, Donald. I think that like are they going to have time for us for us lesser mortals? Hi there, Run Cowies. Run Cowies Run. Cool name. Hey, Bridhead, I am considering a Patek Philippe 5167 Aquanaut, but I don't wanna wait several years, yeah. Yeah, I tell you, Aquanaut, um, for a while, I was a big Nautilus fan, but then I saw the Aquanaut, and I really liked it. The problem the pre-2009, uh, Patek Philippe is the only thing that I want because of those had to put those silicone hairsprings in 'em. I wish they hadn't done that. A pair of RGM with custom enamel dials, my company's logo. Oh, wow, Dominic, that would be cool. The, RGM that I really like is the, CO what is that? The Corps of Engineers, the COE. That one I really like, and I think one of them has an older American movement that he fixed up or did something to is in 'em. Yeah, that RGM, I think, is a neat brand. Langa. You like Langa, huh? I wish Marco Lang would come out with something more affordable. The ones he has now, they're all over $100,000, and he probably has a full book. Hey, Henry, how you doing? What do you think makes Rolex? I don't think they're the highest horology. I think they retain value, but I don't. I mean, they're okay. The thing I like about Rolex is Rolex Parachrome hairspring, and they kept it even though they had access to the silicone ones. Now, I know they came out with a new one with a silicone hairspring, and you know, but so I lost interest in that. But generally a Rolex. I mean, they're okay. Hi, Rural Investments. I'm gonna get a Formex field watch. Okay. Oris New York Harbor Edition. Oh, that sounds interesting for an Oris. Why don't you like silicone hairsprings? Isn't that the next step in watch evolution? Reduce magnetism. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know all of the reasons for that. But if you wanna go with silicon, why not just get a smartwatch? Those are better. In fact, you can go back to quartz, get a quartz. They're more accurate and all of the other things. So, if you want that, go ahead. You have things that are just elegant little pieces like a, swan neck regulator. They don't work with, silicon because silicon you don't adjust it now. I know that Omega came out with something that you can adjust just a little, but I don't know. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Well, I'm up for a Benzinger with in-house move. Ooh, Benzinger has an in-house movement. That's interesting. I didn't know that. The new Andreas Streller Cena or forthcoming Garrick Deadbeat Second. The Garrick Deadbeat Seconds does sound interesting. RGM way too overpriced to be a watch made in that doesn't make any sense. Um, Joshua, I was a big Aquanaut fan, and then I saw the Aquanaut. Hey, Dubai expat, how you doing? I would really like a Longa 1815. I like those too. That's a really nice. That's just a nice kind of watch. I hope to get a Lone Jean Spirit Zulu time. I'm looking at a different Zulu. Hey, Sharad Singh. I got two already this year. Blew up my budget for next 2 years. My finance got me a wedding watch, a JLC, or your fiance got you a wedding watch. That was nice. JLCs, I don't know if they make a watch I don't like. I like JLC a lot. I know they're owned by Richemont, and but that's okay. So is Vacheron Constantin and a lot of other watches I like. Patek gondola with the big, Roman numeral dials is also like that could be an interesting one. There's one if my whole thing with that, there's some really good gondolas pre-2009, and they're easy to tell. You flip it over, and one has that, PP seal of approval, and the other ones have the Geneva seal. If it has a Geneva seal, then it's the kind of one I want. Square Gondolo, 18 karat, yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of those I like. I like the 51, what is it? I think it's the 5124. Nice one. Hey, Brian, RGM uses in-house movement in the COE. He uses Vintage Hamilton pocket watch movement. Ah, okay. Thanks, Brian. Hey, Hazy Eagle. I want to buy tough, good-looking chrono, everyday watch that endures. Now, by chrono, you mean a chronometer or a chronograph? I am looking at Moser, FP, Tonda, and Chopek. One or all three. I can hide from my wife. All those are all good watches. Julius. Hey, I would like a Jaeger-LeCoultre Reversal Tribute Monoface. Wonderful watch. Don't get a Moser. They trade below retail. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. You guys that come in and they start talking garbage about resale values, basically they don't know anything about horology. And don't try to cover it up with you think you know something about the value of it. There's a waiting list for Mosers now. So cut it out, large mirror, okay? Grow up. This is a growing up group, and at least growing up in the sense that they talk about horology and not these banal things that pass as something else. So, okay, you like JLC, but no, yeah, because they hold their value. Uh, you know, Large mirror, get this through your head. The good horology is good horology. You can have crap that holds its financial resale, okay, but that doesn't mean there's good horology. All right, it can be very boring and nothing changes. So try to learn something about horology, okay? Please, that's important. Okay. Okay, Joshua. JLC MUT. What's the MUT moon? And those are nice ones. Hey, Joseph, how you doing, man? I need Vostoks. Yep, definitely more Vostoks. Okay. Hey, Junior. The Lone Jean Spirit Zulu time. Yeah, they have one in 39 millimeter now. I would get engrave it a Langomere. Okay. Langomere is a pine cone in disguise. God. Okay. I like the Moser Pioneer Center seconds. Mega cool. Beautiful watch, Andreas. I agree with that one. The thing is, trying to think, the one I like, the Pioneer Mad Red. I like that. Master Ultra Thin. Hey, John, do you have any Cartier watches or one you recommend? Cartier is a funny thing. Recently, Cartier came out with a statement said, "Look, we're not about the movements and things like that. We're about the style of it." Now, here's a watch company that had one of the best watchmakers in Carol Forestier Casapi. I mean, she's really fantastic watchmakers. Had some great movement that she made for Cartier. Now, Cartier is owned by Richemont Group, so but that statement that we don't, something like that, you might as well get a quartz. A lot of them are quartz. So Cartier is a funny kind of thing. There was one that had a THA movement in it, a mono pusher from I don't know when, and that movement is really that was a neat one. And like I said, I'm no chronograph fan, but that one would be a neat one to have. Master ultra thin moon phase. Oh, anyway, John, that's um hey Eric, enjoying first generator Zywork ridiculous horology. It's really something. You're right. Okay, Brian, what do you have coming Monday? Okay. Santos. Yeah, I agree. Santos is a nice Cartier. Really disappointed in JLC's recent price increase. Yeah, that they've jumped it up. They had a great pricing, but y- that may not have been JLC's decision, Jaeger-LeCoultre's decision. It could have been Richemont. Richemont calls, I think, most of the economic shots on that. But of course, then Rolexes went way up, which is too bad because they had some good entry level Rolexes, but then they brought the prices way up. Well, a lot of them did, so they're nothing new. Third party movements, they're the best. Third party movements. Now, there's certain ones, sort of like if you take a look at the Grand Prix prizes that have been won by watches with Agenor movements, for example. Yeah, those are fantastic. Vasseur, those are fantastic movements. Crenode, those are by Mojan. Those are really fantastic. Uh, what they call the third party movements. I think that there are a lot of so called third party movements that are better than the in house movements. Sometimes in house movements, they simply are something else warmed over so that they can say, well, look at us, we have an in house movement. And there's some that are very affordable that have an ETA or a Solida movement, and they tell you they have an ETA or Solida movement, and those I've got a lot of respect for. That what was it, Dumont or one we had not long ago. They were $1,250. Great looking case, great looking design, and it had a Solida 200-1 or something in it. She doesn't like Cartier. Cartier does have some wonderful women's watches. I'll tell you, in fact, the ones I like though they probably don't make anymore. The Cartier Crash and the Cartier. There was another one that looked like I got run over by a truck, but the movement they have on that is really fantastic. Christ. Um, yeah, I agree, Eric. Anything with an Agenor movement. Um, you don't like third party movements at all. That's why I use sand glass. Okay. Hey, Burl Investments. Um, Joshua, what do you think are some of the best values for the money? Hey, let's talk about some looking for something with smaller risk. You can get some really great watches that are around, depending on what you call a smaller wrist. I I mean, if you mean those little bitty ones that women used to wear, usually quartz anyway, but there are some really nice ones from some like a 34, 32, 34, 36, right in there that are really good buys in different brands that you can find. What do you think is the best values for the money around 5,000, so forth? Um, Um, 5,000. Oh, I'll tell you one around 5,000, and that would be it would be on a secondary market that you could get it would be a Bulgari, Roma, Octo Roma. The Octo Roma is one of those watches that has the BVL 199 movement in it, and those are great deals. You can find some really great ones that are discounted. Their list price for the newest model is around $7,200. Those it's very nice. Even at that, they're great buys. Um, Let me see. Let's see, around 10,000. I think some of the entry level H Mosers they're hard to beat. I mean, they're a little more than that, like I think 12.9, I think is where their bottom price is. Those are really great watches. Um, okay, Captain Kirk without ETA, we wouldn't have a watch industry. That may be true, but I don't know if it is or not. It's one of those things you can say without any backup to it. Okay. Oh, I tell you, a watch I still like. You wanna get a cool watch, you can get them for around brand new for around $300, and that's a Tissot, uh, Heritage Petite Seconde. They have an ETA 6498 movement in it, running at 2.5 hertz. Uh Just a wonderful watch, wind up and you can buy them, like I said, I think they came out at $900 or something like that. They were never an expensive watch, but they have that neat movement in it. I really like that move. That's the kind of movement you could probably do adjust yourself, and it wouldn't be hard to find a watchmaker to do any kind of service on it. Burr makes the watch hybrid, born like a crossbreed between a donkey and a horse. Okay. The Salida SW300 movement seems like a great movement for the money. I agree. Yeah, that what Salida is, all of the movements. At one time, ETA couldn't fulfill all of the demand they had, and so they made a deal with Salida to make some movements that were basically ETA movements that they were trying to fill the bill on, and so they had the exact specs on them. And so, Salida has some good ones. I forgot, and if you look at any one of the Salida movements, you can find out what was what they were made. I mean, what ETA equivalent that they have, that they covered. So, yeah. No, I'm not the only thing I have against ETA, and it's really not against ETA, but there's some watch companies that claim they have an in-house movement, and you open it up and there's an ETA, sometimes a very cheap ETA. They have because I think there are like 4 grades of ETAs, and the bottom grade is the cheapest, and it acts like the cheapest too. Bulgari Roma World Timer 41. Now the World Timer I'm not familiar with. I'm just familiar with the, Bulgari Roma period, 41 millimeter. I'm not sure if it's 41. It's something like that, though. Sen watches, tractor tough with yeah. Yeah, those are good. Those are good. The Sen watches are very good. You wanna find an interesting watch. Do any of you happen to have a Sen dialed Hoyer? Those were, I think, from the '70s or something when, Hoyer, had a contract with the German Air Force, and then they had this service contract with Sin, and so they sent in the Hoyers for service, and they come back with a Sin dial on it. There are a few of those. Those are fun watches. Hi, Julius. Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda in white gold, also a good buy for less than €10. I agree. That's Parmigiani is one of those for a long time. There were so many really great ones you could choose from for a very reasonable price, and finally people caught on, and the prices have gone up. In fact, there are a lot of them there are waiting lists for. So they did a turnaround on that. Hey, basils and bezels, basils, bezels. I bought a Tonda 1950 for around 5K American brand new factory wrap. What a great buy, Basil's bezels. That is a neat watch. That's sort of an iconic, almost dress watch. Love that watch. Okay, take care. Date just 36 is a nice size. I agree. That's a good one. That's the kind I was talking about. You can find some really good buys on some of these smaller ones too. Oh, good, Joshua. You like the 6498. Love that one. I love the Dash 1 the most because that's the one that runs at 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour. Okie doke. Let's see. What do I think about Ming watches? You know, there was a Ming watch I think that came out with an Agengraph chronograph. Fantastic. Ming is very interesting. I tell you one. God, I tell you, trying to think the name he has. Are you guys are familiar with, Benjamin Chi, right? He has some watches he put out there, great watches. I mean, they're just really he does stuff with, Sven Anderson. So there's a brand, I think, that you have something by one of the world's top watchmakers in working with, Benjamin Chi. I don't know what he kept changing the name of his company, so I'm not sure what it is right now. Okay, Koji, I see it's frying pan time. Okay, let me handle a couple of these. Washington football fan at $5,000. There are a lot of Nomos. Nomos is another great deal. I think for watches under $10,000, Philippe Dufour said that those had the best deals on it. Anyway, Lyrique Etude number one is not on Chrono 24. Those things, yeah, they got bought up pretty quickly on all kinds of things. Large mirror, don't start bashing things that you don't know about because you really don't seem to understand horology at all. You understand some other stuff. Learn about horology before you come back here. That would really help, I think. The rest of you guys can come back anytime, but read a book, large mirror. All right. Learn something about this hobby of ours. Rolexes are fine. You probably don't know as much about Rolex's movements as I do, and I don't know anything about them, or I don't consider I do. So take a break. The rest of you take care. Have a great week. Stay cool.